Workplace wants to remove the bell that helps with my disability. I'm a night auditor at a hotel. My job is largely sitting in the back and watching the cameras, printing out papers to store for accounting purposes, and helping guests that arrive in the absolute dead of night. I work from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. and generally am completely alone in the building except for security, who is one guy that only mostly shows up for his scheduled shifts. This job has been an absolute slam dunk for me. I struggle in most workplaces due to my blend of disabilities that make waking up on time extremely difficult. Showing up to work at all can be a challenge at times, and even when I'm in the workplace, I often struggle to keep up with workloads. Because I'm coming in the dead of night, I don't have to worry about oversleeping. And since my job is just printing some papers and general customer service, I don't have to worry about not being able to handle it. My previous manager encouraged me to bring my Switch into work because it can get extremely boring. And she made it clear that as long as I'm not bothering any guests, and I'm here on time and getting my work done, what I do doesn't really matter. She also mentioned that there's a bell in the dining area that the cooks use, and I can take it to leave up front, so guests can easily alert me when they need something, and I'm in the back. She left the company about a month ago, and our new front desk manager is an external hire. She sent her first message to the team as a whole about a week ago, and about 70% of the message was her lambasting anyone who uses the bell. She saw my signage that says, "Please ring the bell for service," and wrote that anyone using the bell would be written up for doing so. I have pretty bad ADHD, that being a pretty major part of my typical struggles at work. I'm not always looking at the cameras and can't tell 100% of the time when a guest has arrived at the front desk. While I'd like to get medication to help me treat this, the waiting list is 1.5 years long just for evaluation. And since I only just got approved for company health insurance, it's still a long ways out for me. Maybe it's silly, but that bell is a huge saving grace for my work performance. It's quiet, distinctive, and immediately lets me know I need to get up and help someone. I've not mentioned that it assists me with my disability to my manager, but I wrote telling her that it's useful for me. Additionally, if I don't have a bell out there for people to ring, there's really only 3 ways things will go down when a customer arrives. The customer waits until I check the front desk cameras again, which could be a while because, again, memory issues. The customer walks into an employee-only area to look for me, inevitably scaring the shit out of me and looking extremely unprofessional in the process. The customer yells, "Hello?" to try and get someone's attention. None of those scenarios are necessarily ideal. To me, it seems like a much easier solution to simply give customers a way of politely notifying me that they're waiting would be to give them a bell to ring. However, my manager has made it very clear that this simply won't be happening, and I really don't want to get written up. While I could just sit at the front desk, that would make me unable to watch the cameras at all, and additionally, I wouldn't feel safe doing so. The front desk is positioned directly in front of a massive window, and we're located in a shady part of town. I am certain that I would get people coming in to sexually harass me. It's happened before. I just want to keep the stupid bell. I don't understand why it's such a big deal if it helps me do my work easier. But I don't know how to describe to my manager that a $5 bell I bought off Amazon is an effective disability aid for me without sounding stupid. Update 1. So, I'm a night auditor. I've been at the job for about 6 months now, and this is the longest I've lasted at any job. Working is really difficult for me due to my blend of mental illnesses, so when I landed this gig after accumulating a shit ton of rent debt and cutting ties with my abusive family, I was celebrating like I'd won the lottery. The fact that I get paid to do fuck all most of the time is a goddamned blessing. The previous manager was awesome and trained me how to do everything super fast. She actively encouraged me to bring my laptop or Switch in to play video games during my shift, because otherwise I'd get so bored, I'd start bashing my head into a wall. She also told me I could use the bell from the kitchen to put at the front desk for guests to easily get my attention. This had been an absolute godsend regarding my ADHD, and I made a sign to request guests to ring it for me during the dead of the night. After only 2 shifts, she said she was confident I could manage my own work, and I've been working alone ever since, with security around a good half the time. Back in September, she left for a different job. Everyone was pretty heartbroken, but of course we all wished the best for her, and she departed with no issues. There was about 2 months where the front desk was reporting directly to the general manager, who was slowly but surely getting less and less responsive to messages and calls. At one point, I had a guest approach me, complaining that their car had been stolen from our parking garage, and despite being told they would get the chance to speak with the GM about the incident, she had never showed up. I sent an email to the GM immediately, furious that she had not responded to our guests and upset that my repeated calls to her over the last 2 weeks hadn't been acknowledged. I told her that she had to come in that day to discuss things with our guests as they would be checking out the next morning, and I expected to be updated on the situation as it had happened during my shift, and I would like to know how I'm expected to respond to this. I got no response, and she did not arrive at the hotel that day, so I sent an email to HR saying that I was unable to get in touch with her and needed assistance ASAP. That was fortunately able to kick the GM's ass into gear, and the situation was dealt with, though I never got my update. Finally, about a month and a half ago, we got a new front desk manager, who I'll call M. Her introduction to us all felt off-putting. She opened with a standard introduction, and then immediately dove into a rant about the bell. She had seen my sign saying to please ring it, and went off the handle saying it was ludicrous and absurdly unprofessional. She said she threw out the sign, and should she see a sign like that again, the poster of it would have disciplinary action taken against them. In addition, she's taken away the keyboards for the computers in the back office, making them functionally unusable for everyone else. This is, of course, a dogshit way to introduce yourself to your new employees, and a complete power trip to me. A bell is a normal thing to see at a hotel, and putting that aside, it has been an absolute game changer for my disability. I have really bad time blindness, and will forget to check the cameras for extended periods of time, and the bell is a good way of immediately getting my attention from whatever I'm doing and getting me to the front desk immediately. I decide that M will surely understand if I tell her it's a disability aid, so I leave a response to her clarifying as much. I obviously don't tell her the details of my disability, just saying that I can be very forgetful, and the bell makes it easier for guests to get my attention when I'm in the back office. In addition, I would very much like to use the computers in the back office. M says that it doesn't matter, and I'm not allowed to use the bell. I remind her that as a disabled employee, I am entitled to reasonable accommodation, and she's having none of it. She demands I get a doctor's note for the stupid fucking bell, or take it up with GM. She also neatly dodges any of my requests, asking where the keyboards are, or if we can still use the back office computers. She also says if I'm experiencing trouble focusing, I should remove my distractions. This advice is very upsetting to hear, not only because I do not want unwarranted advice on how to manage my medical condition, but also because I know that that is not how my fucking illness works. This is maybe where I should have stepped back. I sent an email to GM, explaining that I like to use the bell and it's a preferable alternative to guests entering employee-only areas to get my attention, and I would like to have it cleared as a disability aid. I also mentioned that I do not want to hear M commenting on how I should treat my disability, as she is not qualified to do so. GM seemed to take a very stern tone with her response, demanding to know why I wasn't at the front desk, why I wasn't checking the cameras. The bell has never been allowed, and I'm breaking the rules by using it. Worst of all, she demands to know why I did not mention my disability in the course of my interview. This question is fucking shocking. No employee is ever required to disclose their disability to an employer before the job has been offered, unless it makes them unable to perform the job duties, and as the manager, she should know this. I repeat that I am not required to disclose at any time until I make a request for accommodation, and that my disability means that I sometimes forget to check the cameras, and this is not something I am in control of. Additionally, I stress that I have never been told I am required to remain at the front desk for the entirety of my shift. This has never been the case for me, nor anyone else I have worked night audit with. I also CC HR to make sure they're hearing all of this as well. HR responds saying if I want accommodations, I'll need a doctor's note. Though they do not mention GM's out-of-pocket demands to know why I hadn't disclosed my disability, GM denies that she ever requested I disclose my disability, despite the fact that I have the fucking email sitting in our reply chain just a few days prior. She says that I'm to respect M's authority, as she has many years of experience in the industry. This is not something I have ever denied. And that I'm to remain at the front desk for the entirety of my shift. Additionally, she says that M has claimed I've been hooking my laptop up to the work monitors to play video games. This accusation has come out of nowhere. While I have brought my laptop to work to play games, this is something I was extremely explicitly told was allowed by the previous management, and I have never connected my personal laptop to the work computers. I tell her as much, and make sure to stress that I am upset with M because she gave me unsolicited advice on how to manage a medical condition she is not qualified to comment on. Her experience as a hotel manager is irrelevant in that specific matter. I also make sure to stress that it is incredibly fucking weird, considering how bad M has stressed that she's the Tilda manager Tilda, that she never approached me about this supposed workplace habit. I would expect her to discuss any issues with my performance with me directly, as that would be the normal thing to do. I've not gotten a response to this email, and it's been 3 weeks since I sent it. I'm honestly not sure what to do now. Did I just completely let my anger about this whole situation fuck me over? Do I get papers from my doctor saying that I'm disabled? If I do that, should I bother with the stupid bell that caused all of this bullshit? I still want my fucking bell back, but it's not worth losing my job. Update 2. I like using the bell as it's an effective disability aid, and I was originally encouraged to use it. New management came in and said if I was caught using again, disciplinary action would be taken. Told her it was a disability aid, she didn't care, took the issue to my GM, who began to grill me on why I hadn't disclosed my disability during my interview. Of course, she's not allowed to ask that. Legally, I'm not obligated to disclose, and she's not allowed to ask me to do so during the course of an interview. I CC'd HR in my response explaining as much, however nothing came, and eventually the situation died down, though I still didn't get my bell back. However, apparently my email got a small investigation cropped up around the GM's behavior. Corporate began sniffing around and found that next to nothing in our hotel was compliant with corporate policy, and bonus money that should have been sent to front desk staff, as a result of positive reviews mentioning them by name, never actually made it to the staff. According to a co-worker of mine, the GM had to be escorted out of the building. I spoke with the new acting GM about everything, and he said he was excited to meet me because of the multiple glowing reviews he'd read that mentioned me by name. He's interested in equipping me with the skills to begin rising up the management ranks, and asked me to expand on things that would make my job easier. Among some many changes he's planning on implementing, came my personal favorite bit of news. I got my bell back.